One of the most rewarding aspects for a nonprofit leader is witnessing the incredible dedication and passion that your members bring to the association. Their commitment drives your organization forward and empowers it to make a meaningful impact in either your community or industry. Today on the podcast, the marketing director for the Slag Cement Association, Nick Brimley, discusses a recent blog he wrote on cultivating member engagement. Let's begin the podcast.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the podcast. I'm Janice Kleins, Marketing Manager for AOE, and today joining me on the podcast is the Marketing Director for the Slag Cement Association, Nick Brimley. And we're discussing a blog he recently wrote for AOE called Cultivating Member Engagement, a Guide for Nonprofit Leaders. Welcome, Nick. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Janice. It's great to be on the podcast.
So we'll dive right in. We'll get started. Let's start with telling us a little bit about what you do for SCA, how long you've been the leader for SCA, and how many members SCA has.
Yeah, absolutely. I wear a lot of hats for SCA. I work directly with their board of directors and its various committees and task groups to advance SCA's mission in serving as a leading source of knowledge for the growth of slag cement. Outside of my management and operational duties, I cover all marketing and public relation functions as well. I've been with SCA for just about a year and a half now, and we have 12 organizational members. And our members are composed of slag cement producers and suppliers in North America. The slag cement they supply represent over 95% of all slag cement used in U.S. concrete construction.
Wow, that's impressive. So in your blog, you mentioned 4 key attributes to create successful engagement with your members. Let's start with the first one, embracing flexibility. Tell our audience what you mean by this.
Yeah, flexibility or adaptability is your ability to change with new information or circumstances. Our members are all volunteers and have other responsibilities outside of SCA, whether it's their work or personal life or even another association they are involved with. Extenuating circumstances happen. That's where it's important for a nonprofit leader to be flexible and to adjust to their members' needs. That could be changing the time of a meeting or adjusting deadlines for a project. One way that we've leaned into flexibility at SCA is for our Slag Cement School, where we hold a 2-day educational event at a different location with different speakers, different topics, and different audiences each year.
Okay, that's really nice of you guys to do it in different locations. I would think it would offer some really good flexibility with those living around the United States. So why is it important to be present and focused with your members?
There's 2 key elements to this. One is just the mutual respect. So the time of your members is important, and it's not appropriate if you're being distracted or focusing on other things outside of the scope of a meeting. And 2, you need to be focused to make sure that both you and your members are aligned and on the same page for the priorities of your organization. Whether this is a long-term project that you're working on with your members or working on a new event as well.
So the third key element that you mentioned in your blog is to practice mindful expectations. Tell our audience how you do this.
Of course, I think it's important to be self-aware of what you're expecting from your members. Not all of your members are able to commit to a time-consuming project or event. What I find beneficial is to clearly communicate goals, to try and make things as easy as possible for our members to participate and get involved at any level. And of course, to always thank them for what they contribute as well. For example, not all of our members feel comfortable with public speaking. One way I do this for SCA is that I work with our members to develop a script for them when they speak during our Slag Cement and Sustainable Concrete Awards, which is our annual award ceremony that celebrates exceptional slag cement projects.
So as a leader, should you foster empathy and understanding?
I think it's a vital characteristic as a leader. You have to consider the unique perspectives and experiences of your members or your employees or stakeholders of your organization in order to drive its mission forward. By being empathetic and understanding, you create a more welcoming environment for them. where they feel valued, are willing to contribute, and be more productive for your organization.
Okay. So one thing in your blog that I found intriguing was the mention of leveraging unique skills. Tell us how SCA does this.
Yeah, for those of you listening that wear many hats in your work life, you likely understand the importance of being able to leverage your own unique skills for the betterment of an organization. Um, Even if it's a skill that you may not have thought you've needed for your current role. A recent example of that with SCA is that we've received requests from both our membership and their customers for an easy way to search for slag cement in the United States. Um, SCA does not have its own dedicated programmer, so I dusted off my own coding skills and designed an interactive map for the SCA website, which would allow potential customers to find slag cement sales offices in either their state or region.
Wow. So you really do wear many hats. Well, thank you, Nick, for joining us today. Really enjoyed hearing about slag cement and all the things that you do for them. For our audience listening, you can read Nick's blog on our website at aoeteam.com under the blog section. AOE has extensive experience with association management. Feel free to reach out to AOE at any time to brainstorm ideas for your organization, aoeteam.com under the contact section. And once again, thanks, Nick, for joining us today.
Thank you, Janice, for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. We hope this session provides value, and we hope you will join us for our next podcast.